I think, black women get this bad rep that they are tough and, you men, we want women who are easy and things like that. I don't think it's that. I think what happens is you have women who, I never did any other race, so this is not to y'all, don't at me. In my experience, they just are strong. You know what I mean? Like, not like stronger than usual or other women. I'm so afraid of getting canceled. I'm gonna just stop. I don't even know what I said or where I'm going. I just thought once you said 30-second promo, I was like, Kev on stage doesn't respect white women.
Blame it on me.
Black women are always gotta be strong. We can't be weak. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Ah!
But Kev, you just said it.
I did. Actually, I said it more concise that time.
It was so much passion.
Ah!
You even offended me.
I think my balls are intact. I think my wife and I, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, it's definitely been about like honesty and vulnerability and not being like that go along to get along. Yeah. That's she'd rather have an honest agreement or honest disagreement or an honest agree to disagree than to just be like, okay, girl, whatever you want, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it's about ball taking or having, or it's just about like, let's have an honest dialogue. Yeah. Tell me why you disagree, and I'll, tell you why I agree or whatever, and not to argue, but just so that we have that like honest communication. Yeah. So I feel like there's a respectful way to do that. There's a way to keep your marriage intact and do that, and it's something we've been working on, or I've been working on for the last, very specifically for like the last 2 or 3 years.
Right. And it's like you said, it's how you do it, because it's the conflict and the confrontation. You got to get involved in that because that's what's going to make the relationship grow.
Yeah.
That's where the good stuff is, the growth.
Yeah.
So you got to be real with each other, and by going through that conflict, not only you getting to understand each other better, but you're getting to understand yourselves individually.
Absolutely.
And that's what keeps the relationship growing. As long as both people in a relationship know that nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fight to grow, or as I like to say, passionate debates. We're gonna have these passionate debates to grow. Nobody's going anywhere. Nobody's gonna. There's certain words and ways we do things. We don't call each other names. We don't curse each other out.
Sure.
We don't disrespect each other. And after 30 years of us being together, that's what's made our relationship beautiful. We're still literally madly in love. And that's crazy for 30 years being together in this day and age.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm very grateful.
I think I feel like my balls are intact. Both of them are there and strong. But I think there's wisdom in realizing and acknowledging that like we don't know everything. We're not always right. And my wife can have a perspective that she enlightens me on. And so me acquiescing to what she's saying or me agreeing with her is not me losing my balls. Me admitting that what I thought is wrong is not me losing my ball. I think it takes balls to be able to say, as a man, you know what? You're right. Yep. You know what? Your way is better. Or I'm at least willing to try your way to see if it's better because maybe it is.
Yep.
Right? Like we've all done things in I think this is a problem that we just have in society, period, where people are so like concrete in their positions that there's an unwillingness to even accept the idea that maybe something else is right.
Yeah.
Right? And so
that's on both sides, men and women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I'm being neutered by telling my wife, you were right, I was wrong. Like it doesn't, for me at least, in the type of relationship that we have, it doesn't take like an ego check for me to be able to say I was wrong. I've been wrong a million times in my life and will be wrong a million more.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's okay to be wrong. Like that, again, that's how we grow, that's how we get better. And the goal should always be to grow.
Yep.
Growth is hard though, in so many ways. And growing up without positive male figures around who understand that there's a way to both keep your balls and be able to be wrong, or have that space where you can allow people in, and it's not always about somebody questioning your manhood. It's a delicate balance, but it's also needed because you need both as a man in a relationship with a woman. It's like you need to keep your balls. That's what it comes down to. But you also need to have space for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Since we're on the subject, you guys keep bringing up this whole ball thing.
You the balls man.
You introduced the ball.
You brought the balls to the table.
The balls in your court.
You got us balls deep in this thing already. You did that.
He'll discharge. And not only do we have, because the balls thing is just respect. That's all your thing is, right? But then your woman, she's the same way too. She has lady balls. And she, especially our women, these are strong black women.
Yeah.
And I love my woman, the fact that she's strong. And the same way I don't let her take mine, I don't try to take hers.
Yeah.
And we're able to have that dialogue, address, challenging topics without crossing those lines. Now, have we crossed those lines sometimes? Yeah. And that's when you got to come back and be like, my bad.
Yeah.
I was wrong. My emotions got the best of me. I'm going to work on that. And you do better next time. But it's like practice. Over time, it just gets easier and easier. But like you said,
Like basketball
yeah,
practice.
but that growth is difficult,
football
man, sometimes.
practice.
Yeah. That's the thing about how many years you been married, Tommy?
5.5.
5,
Almost 6.
7, and 18.
18, together 30.
And so we've been together 20, married 16. You were talking about growth is hard. One of the things that I found most difficult, because we started dating when we were in high school at 16.
In 6th grade?
Yeah. One of the issues when people are always like, man, you guys are so cute, you've been together so long. And I think one of the things about being married so early is you have to go through those changes together, like all those changes. Yeah. Like if you're over 30 years old, you've been married 5 years, you had developed as a man in certain ways already. What I had to work on is what used to be our relationship and what changes, and like not being able to go back to that.
Bruh.
And being like, so my wife, unbeknownst to me, early in our marriage decided she wasn't going to be a nag. She didn't want to be a nag. So what she just did is internalize a lot of stuff. So I'm just like, this is great. I don't get challenged. I don't get nagged. And then somewhere along the line.
This is what we are now. This is us. We're
Yeah,
comfortable with
right.
this. I'm expecting that this is how we're going to continue.
Yeah. And then a couple years ago, she was like, never mind. I'm not going to necessarily start nagging. I'm just going to say the things that I wasn't saying before. Yeah. And I'm going to challenge you in the ways you messed up when I hadn't done that. So then I was like, oh, hold on. I've been messing up this much? All these years? You ain't never said nothing? So now I'm like, I don't do anything right. If you want to leave me, just leave me. I'm a poor excuse for a man.
I got no balls.
I got no balls. I got no respect. You've been holding this pain in. So now I got to do this work of like basically unlearning all the habits that I had years of being able to get away with this.
Because they were unchallenged.
Because they're unchallenged. So she was walking around on eggshells, making sure everything was perfect for me. So now I've got to, it's my turn basically to make sure how if I say this like this, how that's going to affect her. If she says something, she suggests something to me and I don't do it, but then somebody else suggests it and I do it, that's going to piss her off because she told me that first. But also, if she suggests it and I just do it because she said it, then it's going to be like, do you really want to do it? So I was like, when do I do it? So now I'm doing all this uncomfortable growth, but it's necessary. Like that's the only way you're going to be able to be married for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Like, I saw someone on online say, if you're married to the same person for 20, 30 years, you've been married to 4 or 5 different people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like Melissa, the single person, the Melissa, the mother of 1, the mother of 2, the Melissa whose parents are divorced, Melissa, the corporate employee, Melissa, the entrepreneur. Like them are vastly different people, So, and also those goes along with Kevin, the unemployed, ego in the trash, Kevin, the entrepreneur, Kevin, the corporate, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and balancing those at all times is the work. Is the process.
It's such an astute observation, and it's the sort of thing that most people, or just speak for myself, going into marriage, I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
The idea that it's a maxim or a platitude, but it's true. The only constant is change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so the idea that you are going to be married to the same person in 5 years or in 10 years, that shit ain't gonna happen. It's just, it's not. And as somebody who's like, well, I like that person. I liked who we were then.
I want that one back.
But that does not work if
No.
you want to continue.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if that's the case, then you can hold on to that. You can get divorced. You can go find somebody else. But
Right.
if you want to stay married, you have to adapt and you have to be willing to. And it's going to be hard because there were plenty of things, like in your case, you were getting away with stuff and you were
Yeah.
cool with it. But it was also not just getting away with once in a while. It was how you were. Like, that
Yeah.
was how you were situated year in and year out, not day in and day out, years.
Yeah.
And so those things were embedded in the very makeup of how you dealt with each other. And so
Absolutely.
to realize that this doesn't work for her, and if I want to keep her,
Yep.
if I want her to continue to choose me, then I have to be able to do the work and realize that it's what it was, it will not be. I have to be. I can figure out what I need to do in myself to be able to continue to fight for her.